The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Vincent, joined by Addie Rich. Our podcast is dedicated to amplifying the voices of the disability community. And I am a polio survivor. Addie
has
CP.
It's like a fill in the blank, people.
Yeah.
You know.
So how you doing?
Mad Lib. I'm good. I'm doing. It's spring. I went out and saw my tulips today, my daffodils. Some of them got beat up because we've been getting a ton of rain this week. So it's not like I put little umbrellas over everybody.
Right, yeah.
There are, tulips are tough, but not so tough.
Especially when they're probably just coming up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I went out and looked at my, what do I have? I want to say daffodils, right? Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And looked like the gardener went through them with a weed eater, so it looked like they're just starting to come up. So I got to go out there and look and see if they'll still sprout and stuff. Yeah.
You're like, come on, buddies, go talk to them. It actually helps. No, I was being similar to a plant yesterday. Got outside for some vitamin D. Went and walked with a friend at Stone Mountain. Really nice. My body was very tired though, and I was asleep by probably 9:10 because my body was like, "What the heck? You never move that much. What's going on?"
But it was worth it, right?
It was worth it. It was so worth it.
And imagine if you do that more often, it wouldn't hurt as much.
It wouldn't be so tiring.
Yeah,
it's
and I'm not telling you anything I don't tell myself. It's like, do that more often. Yeah, I think last week when I went to the Roll and Rally event, it was nothing. I didn't even play, but just, pushing around into the different courts and stuff. Yeah, that night I'm like, what did I do today? I'm like, oh, okay. More than you usually do, basically it. Yeah.
I'm so glad we went yesterday, though. We were supposed to meet today, and we decided to do it yesterday because it was nice. And we were like, let's go have lunch on a patio and then go for a walk. Well, today it's pouring rain, so that was excellent that we did it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Like a perfect 68. I wore a t-shirt. Could have used a jacket at some point, but it was brilliant.
Crazy. So. It's been like 90 here.
I know.
It's already starting.
I know. I'm getting ready to come visit you guys. And I started, the OCD in me starts laying out clothes very early. So I was doing that yesterday and I was like, okay, but it's really hot. So I need to pack shorts and dresses and things that if I didn't live and work inside my house all the time and keep my own temperature in, I probably could be wearing it here. But I was trying to negotiate in my head what to pack.
I would bring something just in case the weather changes because this time of year it can definitely go back and forth. So. Yeah.
Well, and I'll wear a sweatshirt all day, every day if it's up to me. I'm that weirdo.
Yeah. I'm a little that way. Yeah. Even indoors, a lot of times I have a sweatshirt on. It's funny you say that because I look around my house. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like a sweater. I don't wear sweater. I wear sweatshirts a lot. I would wear them every day just because being in the chair, it's nice to have a pouch right there where you can put stuff.
Exactly.
So that's part of it.
That's our version of pockets.
Yeah.
Because pockets on the side, if you have your, what do they call this, clothing guards or anything, you can't get stuff out of your pocket that's in your pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you don't even use them that much. So, so I was just looking around in different, because I live alone in a 3-bedroom house, all the closets are mine, right? So I could put stuff in there. Yeah. I go, and the hall closet is mine. So I must have, and I'm not exaggerating, 40 different kinds of jackets, sweaters, and probably half of that is sweatshirts in different colors, different designs. Some of them I pick up, at events, that kind of thing. And some, many of them I buy for myself. And it's like, I like a light one for the, the little bit slightly warmer days, not as cool. I've got the heavy ones that work better. And I just imagine, when my poor daughter has to come through the house and clean it out after I'm gone, just
be
like what the hell was he thinking?
Friends can have one sweatshirt. No, I'm guilty of that too, though, because my sister will be like, "Why?" When she comes to visit her, I've said this in other shows. She likes to organize, and she'll be like, "You don't need all these," and I'm thank you. Take that opinion back to California with me, wherever she is at the time.
Later.
However, well, and I noticed that too because I have a lady that comes in and helps clean the house probably once a quarter, does the deep clean.
Right,
there's a difference between you cleaning your house and then someone cleaning, and she was here last week, and she folded everything that was in the closet, and like I had done a bunch of laundry, and she folded it and put it on the bed for me. Not tall enough to put it on the things on the top of the closet, so literally I have stacks of sweatshirts like sitting on the floor in the closet. But I'm like, ooh, I'm sure similar to you, I'm like, this poor lady's probably folding these thinking, why the F does she have all of this?
Yes, well, that's a great idea, because I found a great gal to come in and clean my house. But like you say, it's especially now as I've gotten older, and and it's harder to do things that are really low on the floor, that kind of thing. And I can get down there, can't get back up necessarily very easily. Yeah. But in addition to just the normal things that somebody would clean, that's a great idea. I may ask her to do a few of those things.
It's super helpful because one, she's the best folder I've met, like separate of my mom, right? Is that she folds them like so pristine, and like I just slide the stack into the closet and it's done.
Nice.
But like I say, you wonder what all the internal thoughts are that house cleaners have of us when they clean our houses. Makes me a little anxious, but
it's nothing horrible. They're not going to find a manifesto or anything.
50,000 sweatshirts compared to jeans. She's probably like, the jeans make more sense because as we age, our size fluctuates. You kind of need a variety. But,
yeah, I know. I found some jeans that were like a 32 yesterday when I was poking around for stuff. I'm like, I haven't gotten that. I haven't made that fluctuation in a long time.
Yeah, so. I've been working on that and eating healthier and stuff. But so I tried yesterday to put on a pair of jeans that used to fit real well. Yeah. And I couldn't button them. And I was like, man, I was blaming it on my
so
butt.
Close.
I was like, my butt is just too big for these. That's what's going on.
Oh, very nice. So let the audience know that we're doing this on a Sunday, which we normally do on Monday. Kind of do our open and close for the pre-recorded episodes, but I'm going to a conference in Vegas, and I'm not sure exactly what it's all about, but if somebody I trust has invited me, and so I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, so we'll check it out.
Don't lose all your money in one place.
I'm going to try not. Well, I'd rather spend it than lose it to a slot machine or something.
For sure.
Might check out something at the Sphere
Don't
or something.
spend it all in one place. I'm coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll spread it all over the place. Oh, man. So want to say thank you to Sandy Gilbreth that was on last week. And I alluded to it being kind of first part of a two-parter because her son is Corey Lee. Maybe you tell him about Corey Lee because you followed him longer.
Yes, so he does a blog called Curve Free with Corey Lee, and it is about travel and accessible travel, and he takes like these wild adventures that would sometimes be considered not for those of us that are different, and proves that you can do them. Yeah. Obviously, if you listened to last week, which if you haven't, go do it.
Yep.
He got that vibe and that ability and excitement from being raised by his mom, who was like, we're going to do this, and I mean, some of it is nature, some of it is nurture, but I would argue that it's probably a beautiful conglomeration of both in this scenario. Yeah. So that's what he does, and that's what he does now is really go to places and video blog and find out about their accessibility and do all these things. But
and the guy is so busy, we had him scheduled for an event and something came up, he couldn't make it, or an interview. And and so we're working on getting it back on the schedule. So that parted thing, so we had his mom off first, and then we'll have him and kind of hear his whole story from that perspective. Yep. So looking forward to that.
Of the story.
Yes, we'll tie it all together, and then today we've got Ky. And again, you stalked him and tracked him down and got him on the show. So,
Ky, if you're listening, I did not stalk you. He's a liar.
My nose is growing as we speak.
I enjoyed his content for a long time and felt like he was somebody that could speak to our audience, and our audiences were similar, and the humor and resilience and all the things that he lives his life with are who I strive to be and who I think we have been for other people. So it was fun to bring somebody in with not necessarily, he doesn't have a physical disability. His challenges are ADHD and other depression and anxiety things. And so it's cool to see somebody who has kind of taken that and run with it and turned it into something.
And that's exactly why we have someone like that on, is because, we can't talk about being inclusive and not have, all kinds of different disabilities on. So yeah, looking forward to having Ky on. Now that I'm watching him more, I noticed, because you see on the social medias that, people will do like a skit with themselves, right? And that's kind of his style.
Yeah.
But they'll wear two different outfits. And, and when I first started seeing, I'm like, well, you should be wearing, in my mind, I'm like, you should be wearing two different outfits. And then I got it, no, he's talking to himself. So he has to wear the same outfit. Yeah. It's good stuff.
It's
good stuff.
Two sides of himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the two sides, which I love. I love so much, because I feel like even when I started listening to him, I was like, he's speaking my language. Is he in my head? And I think that I'm not, clearly, with as many followers he has and how much traction he has, a lot of people that fear identifying as different find their home with him, and a giggle over something that could be really isolating or uncomfortable or whatever. So he has found that lane that is beautiful.
I'm experiencing that right now, because the reason we're doing this on Sunday, I'm going on this trip and I'm looking forward to it. And there's many different aspects. But if the person that invited me said, "Oh, I can't go, we can't go," and not because I don't want to go, but it would just relieve all the kind of the anxiety that's coming up about doing it all. Traveling.
No, I literally said that to my friend yesterday about coming out to hang out with you and go to the expo and stuff. I was like, I'm so excited to hug everybody, see everybody, get to meet people in person. And I said, and I'm also ready to sleep in my own bed, and I haven't even left my own bed yet.
Yes, I'm looking forward to coming
laughing at me. Yeah, because I was like, well, I need to go get the suitcase. And I'm like, but that triggers a bunch of anxiety. It was just funny. We got into it, and it was, he could relate. So we were laughing pretty hard about it.
Good. And Ky really does a good job of communicating that. We're going to talk to him here right after we hear from Ugyar Professional Training.
At Ugyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Ugyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Ugyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
From the Ugyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
We're not here sympathy, we're here to take our place. We're carving paths, we're building dreams, we're running life's great race. Don't raise us up on fragile words or call us brave for just being. We want a world that's fair and true, not bound by what you're seeing. Don't set us apart, don't hold us back. We're here to shine, to stay on track. Judge us by effort, heart, and skill, not by your pity or goodwill. We walk and roll, we climb, we fight, we light our way, we claim our right. Not your heroes, just living bold. Fair and free, that's our goal.
I am so excited about our guest today. Ky is somebody I have watched via Instagram like everybody else with the Vibe with Ky, and really adored how disability and difference is the topic and mental health is the topic, but he does it in such a way you don't realize that's what we're talking about until you're laughing and you identify yourself. So I am super excited to share your story, hear more about you, and why don't you get started with who you are, how you kind of relate to the disability community, and what brings you here to us, and where you're from.
Sure. Yeah. Hi. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. As you said, I'm Ky. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to my ADHD diagnosis. But it all began when I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety and severe depression. And I was getting treated for that, and things were still feeling a little bit off. And so as I was describing the things that I was struggling with to my doctor and my therapist was like, you should get tested to see if you have ADHD. And I was like, I don't have ADHD. Because like when you think of ADHD, you think of like little boys that can't sit still in class.
How old were you at this point, Ky?
I was I'm 38 now, so I was maybe 32, 33.
Oh, so
He was
fairly
not
recent.
a little boy.
I was
No.
not a little boy,
Okay.
not at all, not at all. This was all new to me, and so I was like, okay, I guess I'll go get it checked, and then come to find out, not only do I have ADHD, I like have ADHD. It's like I joke, I say it's AD4K as opposed to ADHD, and
Right.
so I very much have ADHD, and so ever since that diagnosis, my life has been a crazy roller coaster ride of highs and lows, but I've tried to document my experience learning about ADHD and depression and anxiety and all of that stuff, and I use my platform to try to make the conversation a little bit easier to digest, because a lot of this stuff is very difficult to talk about. So that's how the platform came to be what it is today.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you were older.
Yeah.
And that's way different. But if you could kind of rewind us in time and like
Yeah.
growing up, and maybe now you have a different lens to look at it. I know for myself, like I definitely identify in that way as well, but I always saw
Sure.
it as just being anxious and a perfectionist, and like
Sure.
everything bothered me. And now the more I've like become part of the community and all the things, I'm like, that's me. That is me. That's what
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, what was it like to be Ky as a kid and trying to navigate the world?
Sure. A great question. It was one of those things where once I got my diagnosis, everything started to make sense. Right. So like when I was growing up, like I didn't know that I was struggling with this stuff. I thought I was weak. I thought I was slow. I thought that I was not committed. I wasn't dedicated. I wasn't working hard enough, all this stuff. And I was beating myself up. Come to find out, there is a chemical imbalance happening in my brain. And so when you get older and you get that diagnosis and you start to look back at your life, things start to make sense. It's like putting on glasses where the blur now becomes very clear. And so I look back at the things that I was struggling with as a young man, as a teenager, as a college student, and it all makes sense now, like the things that I was struggling with. And when you get that diagnosis, it's really easy to jump into the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. It's like, okay, well, if I would have gotten this diagnosis when I was younger, would my life be different now? You know, would I have fallen in love with that woman? Would I have gotten that job? You know, like all of this stuff. And I was there for a little bit, but I look back at it now and I'm like, you know, it's because of that I'm here with you now. I am a product of this journey, and I'm thankful for that, because I don't know. I'm not saying things would have been bad, but like, who's to say things would have been great? Who knows? My life could have been completely different in the worst way possible. So I'm very fortunate to have the life that I have now, and it's because of my diagnosis, and looking back and just being like, okay, that's what happened. Now let's move forward.
Yeah.
So you're obviously getting treatment. And can you talk about the nature of the treatment, and is there a cure or is there more of a management of it?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love answering this question because I think a lot of times people think that there's a cure for this. There is no cure. You just learn how to manage it. There's no cure for ADHD. It's one of those things you just have to learn how to manage. On top of that, I mean, there are so many different routes because ADHD is a spectrum. So like my ADHD is ADHD inattentive type, right? So that's different than some of the other types of ADHD that are out there. So the way that I treat my ADHD might be different than another person treats their ADHD, because it affects them differently. You know, they may struggle with something different and things like that. So for me personally, number one, therapy. Go talk to a mental health professional, because they're going to be able to give you this 1,000-foot view that you wouldn't be able to give yourself. So if you have the ability to go to therapy, I do take medicine for it. So I take Wellbutrin and Adderall, Wellbutrin for my depression and anxiety, and Adderall for my ADHD. And that really does help things. But I always say medication, number one, it's not guaranteed to work. Number two, it doesn't just fix everything. And number three, medication will open the door, but you're the one that has to walk through that door. And so, but the medication does make things a little easier. It makes it easier to open the door in the first place. So that's what I do. And I just try to put things in place every day that'll help me manage my ADHD in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, right? Like, what would you say some of those things that you put in place are? I mean, obviously, before we even started, we talked about you having a 9 to 5 and then the passion project till you drop dead sleep. So, how do you manage? Because I know for me, it's like a million squirrels in my head. And if I don't make a list and things, I'm like, oh, this squirrel wants to do that right now. And I'm over that in 10 minutes. And now I got to go do this, but I forgot about that. Like, how do you do that?
You highlighted a key thing here, and that's for number one, recognizing the things that you're struggling with. And when you recognize the things that you are struggling with, you can now put parameters in place to help you be a little bit more proactive about it. So, for example, I have an issue, like my short-term memory because of my ADHD is just like gone. Like my executive function, the things that help me remember what's important and what's not important, that is really, really difficult. And like, for example, one of the things that I'll forget sometimes, and this is true, I'm not even making a joke here, I will forget people exist. Yeah. I will forget a person exists. It could be my mom. It could be my best friend. I will quite literally forget that they exist, and I won't text them. I won't call them and say, hey, what's up? Because I literally forgot that they exist. It's not because I hate them. I love my mom, you know, but like they just don't exist. So a parameter that I put in place is I will keep, for example, a picture of my mom nearby, like in a high traffic area, an area that I'm constantly walking, whether it's at my work desk or on my home desk, whatever it may be. I keep that picture there, so it just kind of triggers like, oh yeah, that's my mom. Trigger, I should probably text her. When was the last time I texted my mom? And then it kind of triggers that. Same thing with my friends. Like in my kitchen, I have pictures of all the people that I love. So anytime I open the refrigerator, my friends are right there. It's like, okay, that's a trigger for me. So that's what I mean when I say, you know, you can't cure it, but you can put things in place to help you manage it in a healthy way.
Yeah, that's so. Is that part of, I guess, the process is learning, I guess, little specific life hacks for you and things, coping mechanisms or helpful things to kind of help you remember those kinds of things? I bet you there's a whole list of those kinds of things.
And it's not just limited to ADHD either. You know, like, for example, there's some things that you may know trigger your anxiety, or you may know trigger your depression, or maybe you're diagnosed autistic and there's things that you know will trigger something from that angle. So you can try your best to be proactive about it, and also understand that it's not going to work 100% of the time. I have my good days and I have my not so good days, but I try to give myself grace.
I was just going to say that you have to give yourself a little grace. Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
And I feel like, honestly, with you being in the social, I mean, nobody told you, like, go do that. We're going to talk about that. But being in the social arena also, like, helps you process, and all these other people, I would assume, but also, like, you've made it comfortable. It's kind of like Doug and I talk about for us, like, we try to make it comfortable. I am walking in the room and I only look like me, and I can't look like anybody else to fix it for other people's comfort. But I can make a joke, or can be like, well, the door was closer than I thought, or, you know, things like, you know, to just ease the giggle that they don't know what to do. So it's laugh or wait or what, you know? So, and I feel like that's kind of what you do.
Yeah,
I try to add a little levity to it. One thing that you'll notice in my content, I'll never make like a sketch or anything funny about things that I'm not personally diagnosed with, right? So like I'm never punching down, and a lot of the stuff that I make is very, if anything, self-deprecating, you know, in a sense. And so like I'm never gonna, like, for example, I'm not diagnosed with BPD, right? So I would never make content surrounding it. If I were, it would be like, okay, well, how have I learned how BPD can affect ADHD or vice versa, things like that. So like I'll take that route, but I'll never ever punch down, and I'll always try to add a little levity to just make the conversation a little bit easier to have, because this stuff is hard. It's hard to manage. People die and get hurt and ruin relationships and ruin their lives. It affects people in a major way. But I'm hoping that by making the conversation a little bit more digestible, it'll be easier for people to, one, understand how it's affecting them personally, but number two, hopefully go get help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I can relate to what Andy was saying, and because I'm re-examining myself, you know, I've used humor my whole life, but I never connected that maybe I was doing it to, you know, kind of break the ice, because when I walk into a room, you know, people like, you know, and we all have probably funny stories about that or whatever label you want to put on those stories. But I'm wondering about you, Ky. Like you say, you use a lot of humor in your social media, probably your podcast. What I just found out about, so I'll have to catch up for 6 years. But thank you. But so I'm just curious about pre-diagnosis. Did you use humor in your life quite a bit?
I did, but I used it in a completely different way. Yeah. I used to use humor to mask. I would use humor.
Did you use it to mask? Yeah,
I did. Absolutely. I used it to mask. Because I would use it to mask when maybe I didn't understand something, or I wasn't processing something, or if I was struggling emotionally. I wouldn't want people to see me struggle. I wouldn't want people to see me sad. So I would use humor to deflect. Yeah. And people would think that I'm okay, and I'm not. And here's the crazy thing. I was doing that without even realizing I was doing it. Yeah. You know, I didn't wake up one day and I'm like, I'm going to tell a knock-knock joke to make people forget that I'm depressed. That did not cross my mind at all. And I thank God for my therapist. I have now been able to turn humor into an educational tool. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to use it as a way, even for me, to process how I'm feeling about something, and to process certain situations that happen in my life, you know? So as opposed to using it to deflect, I use it to just shine a light on the things that I struggle with every day.
How is that, getting these new tools in your life, how's it affected the rest of your life? Interpersonal relationships, maybe employment situations, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. It has changed my life for the better. Because now like I said, there are things that I can put in place to help me succeed. Like when you work at a desk job, like I do during the day, when you have ADHD, especially inattentive type, or if your executive functioning is dysfunctioning, it's really, really hard to get the work done. It's really, really hard to focus on the right things. And so now that I have this ability to manage my ADHD in a healthy way, I can excel. And so now I'm at a point that I'm the senior strategist on my team. I am able to, yes, I'm working all day on my regular job and all night on content, but I do it in a way that is conducive for my success and fills my cup. I don't feel tired at the end of the day. I feel fulfilled. And that is all because of my diagnosis and my processing of that diagnosis. It would not have happened that way. Yeah. I would have been burnt out for sure.
Yeah. So you kind of segued for me. Good job. Thanks. So you get your diagnosis. The Vibe with Ky doesn't exist at that point, right? It is just you as a dude getting your diagnosis. How does this come to be, right?
I'm actually going to go a couple years before the diagnosis, because everything kind of started there, but it turned into what it is today. But it all started, and I'm going to make a very long story short, but in 2018, 3 major things happened to me in the matter of 3 weeks. One of my closest friends, Ashton, passed away suddenly. A relationship that I was in for about 2 years ended suddenly. And number 3, I ruptured my Achilles, so I couldn't walk. It's one of the worst things you could do to your feet. That all happened in a matter of 20 days. Yes. And I was just in a really bad place, both physically and emotionally. Yeah. And I got to a point where I'm like, and now, mind you, I'm not diagnosed with anything at this point. All I know is that I'm sad and I'm in a dark place. But I didn't want to live there. I knew that my body was telling me, you don't want to live here. This is not a good place to be mentally. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to work my ass off. Sorry for cursing. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to work my butt off to get myself better, both emotionally and physically. And I'm going to document that experience. And so I just started writing blogs and filming little videos, just saying how I felt and just trying to pass off energy. And at the time it was called Good Vibes with Ky. Mm-hmm. So that was 2018. I did that for 2 years. And then in 2020, I don't know if you heard or not, but the world caught on fire.
I heard something about that.
You might have heard something about 2020, some stuff going down, right? So the world caught on fire. Everybody was home, I including myself, and I was bored. And at that point is when TikTok started to really blow up. And so I found myself on TikTok, just making funny, dumb sketches and videos and talking about good energy. And I did that for another 2 years until 2022 when going back to the beginning of this episode where we're talking about the getting the diagnosis from my doctor, it led into that. And so what ended up happening is around that time is when I shifted from good vibes with Ky to the vibe with Ky, because I didn't want to just focus on good energy, on good vibes, because every vibe is a valid vibe. It's just a matter of what you do with it. If it's a sad vibe, that's a valid vibe, you know? So, so I switched it to the vibe with Ky, and then now here I am talking to Doug and Addie.
Yeah, I think we're the small fish, but whatever.
Oh, no.
We'll take it.
I never view it that way, because like to me, whether it's one person or a million, like it only takes one person to make this worth it. To change one person's life. And that's why like people sometimes will be like, oh, he has 2 million across all of his platforms, and I'm like, I just care about the one kid in Jersey that didn't have this type of conversation, and he was struggling, and now he has it. Like that makes it all worth it to me.
Yeah. You talked about the passion about it earlier. This is your passion. And that's the way I feel. It's my passion that drives me. It's not the numbers. I mean, I keep an eye on them, and it'd be great if we reach more people. But
as a marketer, like I'm a data guy. So I'll of course I'll look at the numbers. I just don't let it determine my happiness.
Yeah.
At all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like, Doug, you and I were talking about that yesterday, though, or Monday when we were recording another episode. We were talking about these episodes are for the person that like catches us because they're having a really bad day, and like we pop up, and we're not all the people that have gotten where they are. They don't need us. They're where they are. Like I'll clap for you and yay, but it's the guy who just had an SCI and is like, how am I ever going to work or walk or breathe or go to the bathroom on my own? It's all of that. To be like, today is okay. You're breathing.
Yes. Yeah. Or it might be where you were pre-diagnosis and has all these things going on. He can't make sense of it. And this might click with him or,
absolutely. Or if anything, just validate their experience.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, like you're not alone here.
I never heard the spectrum applied to ADHD. And do you feel like all of us have a touch of it in some degree? And then,
that's a common conversation that people have. And so I don't want to say that my answer to that is the answer. I'll tell you my thoughts. Do I think that everybody has a touch of ADHD? No, because ADHD is not a trait. It is a disorder, right? And so like in my brain, there are things that are not happening that do happen in a neurotypical brain. So while there are things that people may struggle with just in general, it's not always attributed directly to ADHD or caused by ADHD. It might be something else. There's so many comorbidities there. So it might be similar to something that people with ADHD struggle with, but I don't think that everybody has a little bit of ADHD because of maybe they forgot to call their mom and they're like, oh, I guess I got ADHD. Like, no, that's not how it works.
It's chemical imbalance and a change in executive function and all these other pieces that lead to it actually.
There's so much that's like physically not happening in your brain that kind of makes it clear whether you have it or not.
Yeah.
I think that I've done a lot of study on that. Actually, I've written a book about it. So
I think you might know a thing or two about it.
But so I think that though doing that, I kind of did that because I had people in my life that I loved, and I was like, I need to understand this to give them true grace and be like, okay, your time blindness is kicking in. You don't want to be jerk and be late to me. You're not doing it to me. You literally don't know what time it is until I come in and say, hey, we were supposed to leave 30 minutes ago. What are we doing here?
I love explaining time blindness to people because like people that don't understand that, like a lot of us with ADHD, especially the inattentive type, we don't have a concept of time.
Yeah.
We don't, like we have 2 time zones. It's either now or not now. And when something is not now, like that can be 3 minutes or it can be the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like it could be
exactly.
Like it could be any number of things.
Yeah. For me, time is something that is like, I'm very punctual. I want to be early. If we're not early, we're late. Like that's me. So that was
Sure.
one of the biggest like coping things that I had to learn in romantic relationships is like,
Sure. Yeah.
seriously, they are not doing it to me. It is not an affront, but I have to, yeah, because I mean, obviously, as the other half, you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So until
Yeah.
you really understand, that's the thing.
That is
It'd
the
be like
thing.
somebody telling me, just walk straight.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yes, that's-
Right. It's really hard, and that's where also the comorbidities come into play here because, like, when let's just say you're constantly you struggle with time, but you want to be on time, right? But and because you're worried about what'll happen if you're late. That okay? Now we're talking about anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, which will, now we're starting to get an overlap. So like that's why it's so important to talk to a mental health professional because yeah, you might get treated for ADHD, but like some of that ADHD treatment's not going to help with your anxiety or depression.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
And you let people down and they say stuff about you because you're always late. And then that,
Yep.
It's a big
Spirals.
circle. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know I had to do that with salespeople in my business. Dealt with a lot of salespeople, and it was just so frustrating. And finally, I just kind of came to that point where I said, they have the traits that they have that may affect me in a negative way are traits that make them very good at what they do. So I can't hate them for that any more than I can hate them for having blue eyes or
Sure.
you know, curly hair
Sure.
or something. You know,
Yes.
it's like so I just
please
gotta
go
let it
fill
go.
that next door. So you are super intentional about saying you're a creator and not an influencer. Why
Yes.
does the distinction matter to you?
So influencer to me, an influencer has an agenda to get people to do something for them, right? In a way. So like when you think of influencers, you think of people like for example, Kim Kardashian. That is an influencer. She's a personality, but she's an influencer because a lot of times whenever you see her, if she's talking to you about something, is she educating you? Or is she trying to get you to buy something? And that's no fault of hers. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like, I don't do that. Do I sell products? Yes, of course. But the whole point is for me to make content to entertain and educate. I don't need anything in return for that at all. Can people buy my guidebooks? Yes, of course. Am I sponsored by certain organizations and products? Yes, of course. Like, yeah, because I'm a human being running a business, right? But the basis of my success is not on how many things people buy from me or donate from me or subscribe to me. That's not it at all. So I view myself more as a content creator than an influencer. I'm not trying to influence anybody to buy something. Just to be entertained and educate.
Yeah.
So on that vein, what have you learned as far as your audience? Because obviously it's grown and it's grown. It sounds like very organically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Probably beyond your wildest dreams. And what responsibility do you feel for that? And I guess what have you learned from it too? I guess what have they brought to you?
I number one, I do feel a little of responsibility to the cause now. So I am mindful of what I say and how I say it, how I'm perceived, and so on and so forth, because I have a platform and people often look to me, not necessarily for guidance, but just for like perspective and discernment. And so it's really important I'm very conscious of that. And I want to be able to do that for people while still being genuine to myself. Right.
Sure.
So I do feel a little responsibility, but I'll tell you what I've learned is that mental health doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate. I have audience from all over the world. I've talked to people all over the world, and it's crazy how, me in Philadelphia is struggling with something with the same as somebody I interviewed somebody in Barcelona. We've never met before. We've never crossed paths before, but guess what? We're struggling with the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't discriminate at all. And talking to all these people around the world I've learned that, and it's actually a little validating, and it's really comforting to know, hey, yeah, this is a world thing. This isn't just a me thing, because it's
Right.
very easy to feel alone when you're struggling with this.
Kind of makes
For
the
sure.
world a little smaller, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, and we know, given the swath of your audience, you're talking to people that will never go to the doctor. Like, there is a group that will never go. So even though you are not a medical professional, like, your
Yes.
humor and you're mentioning things that they see in themselves, they're just afraid that if they say that's me, I'm sure that's a little bit of a weight, right? Because
Yeah, and like even on top of that, this is mainly from the people that identify as female. I found that a lot of them have gone to the doctor, but they were misdiagnosed. And it's not until they hit menopause and perimenopause
Yep.
that they realize that they've been misdiagnosed, that the doctors were attributing their struggles to something else, and so they go 30, 40, 50 years treating the wrong thing, and so you end up getting an ADHD diagnosis at 70.
yeah.
70. And then all of a sudden you get that clarity, and it's like, those are the people that I see really struggle with like the woulda couldas.
That's what I was just
know?
thinking. That what if game would be strong, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yes, very strong.
Yeah.
I think it's different too because like you all look more typical. I mean, that's a funny thing to say. Like, I can do the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of like, what if I drove? What if I, blah, 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 right? But like, you kind of have the world treating you as quote unquote normal because you show up looking very normal. So they don't think about you having the woulda, shoulda, whatevers,
It's high functioning. It is very high functioning, and that's also the hard part because, and I always try to use physical aspects to help describe things like ADHD, because it's easy for people to see an injury or to
Relate to,
see like some sort of handicap, whatever it may be, but you can't see it if it's happening inside of here, happening in my brain. You can't see that, right? So like I always try to equate it to, like for example, if I walk up to you and I hold my arm out like this, and I'm like, oh man, I broke my arm. Like you're not gonna be like, are you sure you broke your arm? Like you might ask like, oh, what happened? Like, what does it hurt? Does it hurt here? You're gonna be inquisitive about it. But if I walk up to you and say, I'm struggling with time, my time management right now, you're less likely to ask the same types of questions
Yes.
that you would if it's a physical injury or anything like that.
Or have compassion for it because you're
Exactly.
like, get it together. Come on.
Exactly. Try harder. Like that kind of stuff. It's like if you broke your leg and then you have to run a race and you're like, oh, my leg is broken, and then just the people are like, just run harder. just run harder.
Yeah.
Like, can you run still? Sure, but it hurts. And there are tools out there that can help you get from point A to point B that makes it a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, that's we've done a few episodes on those indivisible disabilities and what people deal with. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things I can't say I struggle. I'm doing better than I thought I would have, but as I've gotten older, there are all of those things that I used to be able to do that I can't do anymore. So it's a little more apparent that with my disability, I need help.
Yeah. I feel you.
So I have to kind of let them go. And it's like, this is part of life.
I don't even
Talk
think
myself
that's
down. What's
I
that?
don't even think that's it. Well, okay, I'm a liar because I'm getting older too. But literally the other day, I put a plate down in the hallway because I couldn't get the rest of the way, and I yelled at my friend to come get it. Like I was like, I can either keep trying, I'll be there in 30 minutes, or just pick this up. But like the younger me would be like, I'm gonna muscle it until I do it.
Yep.
Me, I just literally set it in the middle of the carpet and was like, hey, this is in the hallway.
Yeah, that's it right there. You ask for help a lot more than you used to.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yes.
Doug and I go back and forth about that because I'm transitioning more to a chair than a walking person. And Doug kind of went through that as before. And I'm like, vanity is holding me
Yes.
up.
Oh, yeah.
I feel you.
So we'll see. So you also do a podcast. And
Yeah.
can you tell us and the people like what it's like and what you kind of focus on?
Yeah.
You said, no, I
Yeah.
just don't want to do shorts. I want to do a podcast.
No, as a content creator, like I never want to put all my eggs in one basket, right? So like that's why there's a lot of people that don't know that I have a podcast. And like sometimes it's like that's okay because they know me for my short stuff. There's people that listen and watch my podcast that don't know that I make short stuff, Like it's like they're
Yeah.
all different audiences. So like no matter what platform it is or whatever medium it is, I cater to that specific audience. I won't just like blanket everything. So, so my podcast, it's called the Vibe with Kai podcast. Like I said, it's going on. We just entered our 7th season, and it's really exciting because I get to now have conversations with professionals. Because like you said, I'm not a professional at all, and I don't pretend to be one.
Yes.
But I do get to talk. I get to lend my platform to therapists and doctors and other content creators and all this kind of stuff to people that do have this insight that I don't have. So my podcast, it's me asking questions, not just to interview people. It's asking questions that I genuinely have about the topic, so
Yeah.
I can learn. So the audience is learning with me. So like when you listen, every question I ask, I don't know the answer to myself. I'm
Right.
just like, I'm genuinely asking, hey, what does it mean when you do this or blah, 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 like that kind of stuff. That's how I approach it.
Amazing. Yay, that's so exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you knowing what you know and then pulling together people who know more than you to make it a better
Absolutely.
space. I think that's the best
Absolutely.
thing
And
that
I've
can
learned a
go
lot.
wrong.
And I've learned a lot and I've made a lot of great connections. And like it's cool because now when people reach out and they're like, hey, do you know blah blah blah? And I can point them in the direction based off the people that I've met personally. So it's cool to be that little middle part there between somebody feeling lost and then having some sort of direction to get the help that they need.
That's the strength of the community, and we talk about that a lot, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And it's the same
Universal
name.
for the message.
Say again.
I said it's the universal vessel for the
Yeah,
message.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it picks you and says, okay, Kai, you look friendly and approachable and you can be funny and here,
Yeah.
help them because they're not going to hear
Yeah.
it. It comes in from the clinician who says you have a problem.
Yeah, and I don't take it for granted. Like all of this stuff can go away in a heartbeat for any reason. And so like I just try to make the best of what I have while I have it. And like it's changed my life and I'm thankful for it. I don't take it for granted. And like I just try to just be a good person pretty much.
You're doing something right though. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
sounds
wanna,
like a good
can you tell
formula.
us the award you won? I watched that your little speech, the top 10. So tell us, because you're being bashful. I'm bashful.
It was very, very much a crazy thing. So I was selected by JCI USA as one of the 10 outstanding young Americans in 2023, 24, something like that. And it major imposter syndrome because they have a pool of anybody in the world, or in this case, the country, that's under the age of 35.
Okay.
And anybody can qualify, and they narrow it down to 10 people that they feel is just like an outstanding young American. And so the people there was 9 of us all together, or 10 of us all together. The other 9 people, like we're talking about combat veterans and like teachers, and one of them is the general manager of the Toronto Raptors. It's all those people, and then me. And it was just like it was very, very surreal to be there. So I see you watched the speech. I had a fun time. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be here in front of all of these people, I'm just going to be me for 10 minutes and just like make it like a stand-up comedy thing in a way. So,
But I mean, it was great. And not that you do it for validation in any way, but you deserved that. Like
I appreciate that.
You are doing something, obviously, like you say, you don't do it for numbers and things, but obviously it's making a wave and the wave is being acknowledged. And I think that's important because
It does feel validating. I'm not blind to it. I'm just so thankful because like I never thought that this would happen. I never thought that I would have the ability to have this sort of platform and say the things that I get to say and meet the people that I get to meet and have the opportunities that I have. Like the fact that I can just like travel now and like, and like, no lie, today on this very instance, I got a DM from DoorDash, as in like the DoorDash, and they wrote me and they said, "Happy almost Valentine's Day, Ky. We love your content and we want to keep your relationship with cheese going strong. Here's a code, $50 gift card to DoorDash."
That's awesome.
So I'm like, it's just like DoorDash, like it's still like watch my stuff like that. It's like it's just like really cool.
So Ky, your Valentine is cheese. And
My
DoorDash.
Valentine is DoorDash and cheese. Absolutely.
I like cheese, so
Yes.
I'll be coming over to share the cheese.
Absolutely. I have plenty of I have a box sitting back there. This Wisconsin cheese company just sent me a box of cheese. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this
Are
cheese?
you telling me I'm cheesy or what? Like,
They just sent it. It was in my PO box. I was like, what the heck? It's just a big old box of cheese. I'm like, oh well, okay, thank you.
mark it down, put it in your journal about the time you got all the cheese.
Yeah. So it's just surreal, but I'm very thankful for it.
So going ahead, what does going ahead look like? I mean, you've done so many things already.
Yeah.
And you're a busy dude. What does going ahead look like?
It's funny because I used to not know the answer to this whenever somebody would ask like what's next. But just now that I have like a footing into what I want to do and how I want to do it, the next step for me, I was kind of joking about this earlier, but it's true, is delegating. Like, just delegating some things so I can focus on, more educational side of things, creating more tools. So like kind of delegating away some of the stuff, not saying that I'm not part of it, but just like like little things like editing my podcast. I do it myself. Writing my blog, I write it myself. Like that kind of stuff. Sending my daily emails, I do that myself.
Yeah.
So like just delegating that will help free up a lot of time for me to focus on other things that can educate more people. I definitely want to write a book, like a full-length book on my journey. I definitely want to continue to grow my platform and lend my platform to other people and hopefully grow their platforms, and also work with other content creators that are looking to get into the position that I'm in now. Like I have a meeting this upcoming Friday with a bunch of mental health content creators. I'm leading a workshop about being a content creator in the mental health space. So I'm really looking forward to doing more stuff like that.
That's amazing. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
You're blowing on the spark. That's my side gig that I love. It's called the Plot Twist Society. And I always talk about what do you do after a plot twist? What is your and then, right? So for me, I'm like, yay for you.
Yeah, I'm excited and like who knows what's gonna happen. Like even this time last year, like I would have never known that I would be in this position. So like I've learned to like not try to like expect certain things, just to kind of take it day by day, give myself grace, and just like take it one moment at a time and just shoot for the stars, see what happens.
It'll all go by whether you're thinking about it or not. So
Absolutely.
every second of it.
Yes.
Wise
absolutely.
man. Well, I guess maybe final thing is, this is one of those conversations that you look up at the clock and you think, what? It's just kind of flowed
We
so
all
nicely.
have time blindness.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes,
It
that's
happens
right.
when you're hyper focused and you're having a good time. It's a good thing,
Yeah.
So, we've touched upon the people maybe that are struggling with this and may or may not do anything. What would you say to them to hopefully motivate them to kind of get out of that box they're in and maybe have a more wonderful life?
The first thing that somebody should do is just understand that their journey is valid, right? It's really easy to feel like you're the only person going through it. It's also really easy to beat yourself up for feeling sad or feeling angry or feeling confused, all that stuff. All of those feelings, whatever you're feeling right now, when you wake up in the morning, when you're going through your day, when you're going to sleep at night, whatever you're feeling, those are all valid feelings. Don't beat yourself up for feeling that way. What you need to do is acknowledge that you feel that way and then say, okay, what can I do about it? And it's not just negative things. It could be like, if you're really happy, acknowledge that you're happy and be like, okay, how can I capitalize on this? So like, find ways to validate yourself and understand that your journey and your feelings are valid. And then you can use that. It's like data, that you can use to improve yourself or to be proactive and prevent things from happening, things like that. So just validate yourself and keep pushing forward. There are tools out there for everybody. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how much money you don't make, whether you're insured or not. There are tools out there. There is help out there. Do not give up. Don't. Yeah, I promise you'll find something. Just keep pushing. You'll get there. I promise you.
Ky Westcott, thank you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your vibe with us.
Thank you for creating a space like this for people like me to come on and to share this. And the work that you both are doing here is really helpful for some people to validate their journeys physically, mentally, all of that. So thank you for creating this space.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people living with a disability.
I was excited to show my family just how much better of a skier I got to be. So we went up on December 30th. Then the next morning, I woke up 10 out of 10 pain. Chest, back, head. I slowly lost all feeling from my feet all the way up to my chest, that I was paralyzed, essentially. I didn't understand what was happening. All I knew is that something scary was going on. And
join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Life Limitless. Subscribe now.
From the Ugyard Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
And we appreciate you very much for listening. Thank you for joining us here on Walk and Roll Live. I am Doug. Addie is here. She found Ky out there on social media, and what a great interview. That was fun. What are your thoughts?
Now that you've listened to this episode, I think you know why I love him so much.
Yeah, exactly.
And why I want to be him when I grow up. Because he's just I like finding similar souls that want to help people, but don't necessarily say, let me help you, right? Like, we are not the authorities. We don't know everything about everything, but we want to be that warm place to be accepting and loving and saying, hey, today may not be your best day, but tomorrow's a new day. Like, I like that because Ky comes at it the same way, and he's inquisitive, and he, in his own podcast, he sits down with people, but it started from like, where can I learn stuff and what am I curious about and all those things. It's the curiosity and wonderment that has created this thing for him, and similar for us, right? So it's a kindred spirit in a different subject, and we could have talked all day.
That's why I think this is all so relatable, even if you have an entirely different disability. There's so many similarities in, you think you're the only one. I talked to a gal yesterday that's going to be on a future show, and we're kind of touching bases, and she thought her condition was very rare, but then she put out something and had like immediately 18 people, I think it was, respond. And so now she's thinking maybe it's not quite so rare. So
it's just quiet.
It's just quiet,
right?
And it goes back to what we say all the time: find your community. It just helps you so much in dealing. You don't feel so isolated. You don't feel so unique in a bad way. So it'll help out.
Right. You don't feel so sore thumbish. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then next week we have Lyra Alexandrova, who has an interesting story. She I guess you would call it a spinal cord injury. Started very early in her life in a, in kind of a seemingly benign way, and then it went south very quickly. And then we'll catch up with her story, the rest of it.
Chapters.
Hasn't slowed her down any, that's for sure. So we'll hear from her next week right here on Walk and Roll Live. And again, I've been kind of working at making our resources page more robust and finding some new things. And so got that updated if you want to look for anything. And again, if you find something or you need something you can't find, let us know. We'll try to track it down. We know some good people that got some good resources. So we'll get it all up this year.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Yeah.
But You should like, subscribe, and all the things, especially because now you do those things and you can find out what happened on Doug's trip.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm getting ready to travel to you, so we're going to be the Terrible 2 in person, and
And
it's a good time to join us, more permanently.
And if you really think long term, Addie's booked her ticket to go to Abilities Expo in Chicago and hang out with one of our just recent guests, right? Ray and Lindsay.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to go cause trouble up there.
Yeah.
I got smart because I promised this year I would come to you, which check. But then I was like, oh, and if I want to do the other one, which is in June, June is not that far away, even though it feels far away.
Right.
I was I better get that in order. So
good. Oh man, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to. All right. Well, thank you. Yes, for listening. We appreciate it very much. I'm your host, Doug Vincent, along with Addie Rich from the Ky Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories, Life Limitless.